we can put that on.
So how do you know when to prospect or have prospect somebody?
Okay, that's an excellent question. You saying how do you know when to prospect? And what was the second part of that?
And what's, how do you know who to prospect?
How do you know who to prospect? That's an excellent question. The best way to answer that is prospect everybody. You know, don't prejudge anybody. You know, that's the best way, because you never know what person may be that person that you can use in your business to take you to the next level. You know what I'm saying? But I don't look at the way they're dressed, what they're driving, their hair, their clothes. I don't look at none of that. You know what I'm saying? And one of the best ways, and I'll get into this a little bit more deeper, is when your gut feeling tells you to, you do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us really don't know something called hunches. When something comes over you, it's just like this. Guaranteed, if I went around the room, everybody in here, middle of the night, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, wakes up.
Yep.
But the majority of people don't even know why. Okay, I'm not gonna get too deep or too spiritual, but when that, I'm gonna tell you why it happened. A lot of people don't know. They do that, they whatever, go to the bathroom, whatever, but they don't know what's going on. In order for the spiritual part of you to get your attention and talk to you, that's when it does it. Because there's no noise, there's no distractions. It can get straight to you because it's trying to get something over to you. Because what we have to understand is, like I was talking about last night about our thoughts. Our thoughts are more powerful than we could ever imagine. You know what I'm saying? But most of us never really do any research to understand, okay, these thoughts that we're having, but we're not acting on them. But that's a lot of what I talk about. You know, when you get those thoughts, act on them. You know, and then I was talking about last night with, you know, having faith and belief and patience. I used to have those, but what I did was I did some research and I found out, okay, what is really going on here? And now I know. What is going on is divineness is trying to get something over to you. It's like if you ever hear somebody went to jail and they come out changed because divineness put them in a cell and now they able to talk to them. They able to listen. And he did that to protect them, because if they kept on going, something would have happened. So they pulled them out of that situation, put them somewhere where they couldn't do nothing but sit in there and be with themselves. And so what we have to do is, hopefully I don't go too deep because I don't want to tonight. What we have to do is we have to go somewhere on a daily basis and just, it's just quiet. And you got to get out of the place where you're at, like at home where there's a TV, put your phone on silent, you got to go to the park. You got to do that. A lot of people don't do that. You know, and I'm going to tell you how powerful that is. I'll break it down like this. When you get to know somebody, you spend a lot of time with them, you get to know them. When you spend a lot of time with yourself, you get to know yourself. But right now, we're living in such a noisy world. I mean, it's just like, I wish I had my phone, but Jeff's got it. Most people have their phone, and if you go down the street and you see 4 people in the car, and then the car's moving, I guarantee the 3 people in the car are doing this. When they get to a stoplight, the person driving is doing this. Sometimes when they're driving, the person that's driving is doing this. They're on the phone. We're so distracted. And I'm going to try to really answer your question, you know, where you can get it, not make this long and drawn out, but I'm trying to get it to the essence, try to get to the essence of your question. You know what I'm saying? There is no such thing as happenstance. You're always at the right place at the right time for the right reason. So when you're somewhere and you're thinking about prospecting, that's when you do it. Because you're going to be somewhere where you're not really, it's not going to be at the front of your mind. You're just not going to be, it's not there. Something's going on and you're thinking about something else. You got to remember, I got to get this at the grocery store or Walmart or whatever. It's just not there. But there are sometimes you may be in the line at the bank, at the store, wherever, paying a bill, and somebody's right there. Now, one thing I teach is something, I don't know if you ever heard of it, it's two things really. One of them is called follow your dollar. Have you ever heard that?
Yep, I have.
Kind of, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell you, just in case you haven't heard this part of it. Follow your dollar is everywhere you go spend money, you give someone. You give a card. You know what I'm saying? And I do it, I've probably been doing it 15 years. So for me, it's a habit. So when I pull my money out, I have a card already in I don't keep a wallet. So my money and my cards are like right there. So when I pull the money out like that, and I maybe have 7 different cards. And I did that on purpose. One of the reasons I do that is, when I talk to a person, I find out what they like or whatever, I have a card for it. I have a card for car sales, personal training, making money, you name it, I have a business card for it. And so when I'm talking to them, you know what I'm saying, and I pull out some money, I put a card with it. And what they'll normally do is they'll say, what's this? And I'll say, it's my card. And so I just hand it to them. So if I'm at the cleaners, I'm at the drive-thru, at the fast food, wherever I'm at, and I've gotten a lot of business like that. But another thing I teach is, and I'm not gonna go too much deep into it tonight, but is some other aspect behind that, what you do. It's how to do it, and I teach you all of that. The other part of it is the 3-foot rule. Anybody that's in 3 foot of you either talk to them or give them a card. You know what I'm saying? And I teach you in a way to develop yours. It's like this other workshop here. I teach you in a way to, whatever your personality is, to use that. My background is sales. So I kind of know a little bit more about, intuitiveness, things like that, body language. I use my body language. I look at their body language, and I go off of that. So what I do is when I work with a person, I use your personality. You know what I'm saying? And I tailor it to, if you're prospecting, I say do it like this. You know what I'm saying? And then I just show you different things to do. So basically what I do is I can take you out to Walmart or the mall or wherever and show you, for you, this will do this. I promise you it'll work. I've trained a lot of salespeople like that. You know what I'm saying? And I would start with that. For me, it's comfortable just giving somebody a card and not just let them see what happens. Like, I'll do something with her just to give you an idea, a little role playing, and then we'll move on. So let's say I'm somewhere and I'm thinking about prospecting her. What I'll do is this. Hey, how you doing? Just want to give you my card. Thank you. And I'll do this. They're going to say something. And I'm going to give you a couple things to say. And what I normally do is I don't have anything pre-written or scripted. My whole thing is it's just natural. I just go off of what's natural. Whatever they say, I just bounce off of that. So let's say I gave you that card. What I'm just going to give you is what some people would say. Let's say like you're a car salesman. I'm a car salesman. So let's say I give you that card and I want you to just say this. I'm going to show you how we role play. Just say I'm not interested in the car. Okay, and I'm going to give it to you. All right, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, I'm not interested in a car.
Oh, okay, no problem. Let me ask you a question. Would you be interested in some money?
Oh, of course.
You're the first somebody to me, I paid $100.
Oh, okay.
Now that's just one. I have hundreds. I don't care what they say. Because what I did was I used to go to the mall and do this. And I used to practice on people at stores. And everybody's gonna say something different. And so just imagine you walking in the front of the mall and you go into a store, it's people in there, it's people that work there. So I just go in there and I don't care what kind of store it is. I'll go in there and just ask somebody and see what they're gonna say. I'll say something. But I'm not taking that car back. They can throw it in the trash. I'll go to the next store. And I did that for years. And I developed what works, what don't work. And so what I do is I take what don't work and I throw it away. I take what works and I keep working on it. I keep improving it. It's just like your cell phones. Remember the iPhone 3?
Yeah.
Now they got the iPhone 8.
Yeah.
But we got to think about this. Our kids may have an iPhone 25. You know what I'm saying? They're just constantly. And that's what I've done with this, with these workshops and different things like that. I've always looked at it and say, how can I improve it? My mind is always working. If I did this yesterday, tomorrow's going to be different. I'm constantly improving it. And then also, what we gotta start doing is working on ourselves more. And I tell people this, you wanna work harder on you than you do on whatever you're doing. And so with me, I work on every aspect of me every day. You know, and that's why I want to get into this right here, number 6, which is being brutally honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to get to the point where you say, hey, this is where I'm at. Because there are a lot of people walking around dead broke, but they're in a BMW or Mercedes or something. But they want to give off that facade that I got money. And that's the way they kind of cover it up. They justify. I look like I got money. But what most people don't know is, because the millionaire told me this, he said the people riding in nice cars don't have money. The people that have the money don't spend money on that. Because a millionaire told me a long time ago, he said, Tim, a car is transportation. You know, but I got mentored by some millionaire, and he told me that. And it just stuck out of my mind. I'm thinking about, I want this nice Jaguar or Mercedes or BMW or Lexus. And he just totally changed my thinking. Now I can ride around an old pickup truck. You know, it's like they interviewed Sam Walton. Forbes came to his house. He wasn't there. And they were waiting on him to interview him. And then when he got there, he put an old pickup truck. And he had a dog with him. And they're sitting there waiting on him. Like, Mr. Watson, aren't you a billionaire? He said, yeah. He said, well, why are you riding around that old truck? He said, well, it gets me where I need to go.
Yeah.
Ready for the interview? And he care less. But a lot of times, things like that, just thinking like that, it kind of hurts us. And so what I try to do is when I talk to people that they want to be successful, you know, focus on investing in you. It's like this. One of the subtitles of my book is investing in yourself. It's one of the best investments you'll ever make. You know, but like I was saying last night, we're taught to invest in everything under the sun except ourselves. And a lot of that is just our program in school. Go to school, then go to college, get a degree, go to the military. When you get the degree, get you a good job, then get you a nice house, then get you all of that invested in everything except ourselves. And then we wonder why we don't know, we're struggling with this and that, we're on a job we don't like, and this and that. Well, that's why.
It's been instilled in our head.
Exactly. It's been instilled in our head. It's been branded in there. But a lot of people don't know that, you know, the American dream, you know that came from Fannie Mae? This is why all these student loans, see, we are being taught to be good employees. We weren't taught in school to be entrepreneurs. And so when we get the job, we're struggling. Now we want to jump over into a business. What we don't understand is not the amount of money. Because I have friends that invest a lot of money. The business is gone. Because they didn't have this. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the mental aptitude, the right mindset, the right mind frame. Personality, all of that. And that's all innate. That's not something that you can go pay for.
No.
You see what I'm saying? You gotta work on yourself for years to develop that.
Yeah.
And so I used to talk to them, but they didn't think I knew what I was talking about. And I knew how they were. Because it's a saying that goes, it's difficult to see the picture when you're in the frame. So you can't step outside of yourself and look at yourself. But if I'm talking to you or somebody else, I know that you're this way. I'm like, you're going to start a business, you need to work on this. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a person that don't like paying your bills, and get onto a job, if your own business, you're going to have bills for the business. If you don't pay those, then guess what? The business is going down. And so what I try to talk to people about and help them and educate them on, be brutally honest with yourself. But most people, what they do is they lie to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is all about right here. I mean, brutally. You got to just get in the mirror and say, hey man, this is where I'm at. You know, I want to start this business, make a lot of money, but I need to take care of this. You know, it's like me. I had never been a person that knew how to save money. The most I was able to save was like $3,000. I mean, I was just trying, I didn't know. I wasn't taught how, I didn't know how. And when I went to Atlanta, I put some money in the 401k, and it just went up because I couldn't touch it. It was locked in there. And I saved like $30,000. I was like, what in the world? And I thought I was it. I mean, you could have said I had $300,000 because I never, you know, and I couldn't get it though. That's what was like, dude, I need my money. I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You got to quit or get fired. I'm like, man, I'm about to quit. You know, I just wanted that money. But the reason I didn't, because I knew mentally I wasn't ready. And that's how you have a lot of these famous athletes, young, they get $10 million and they go crazy.
Yes.
And a lot of them will tell you, you're like, why you broke? Man, I was too young for all that money. And that's what happens. They're not here. Even though you got somebody that's like an agent or accountant supposedly helping you, it's your money. You know, they try to stop you because I sold a few football players. And their agent was negotiating with me on the car. And we was on a three-way and the football player was like, dude, send him a check. Wire the money. I need that car. What are you talking about? And the agent was like, no, hold on. Because I'm selling them a Range Rover. You know, it's a $130,000 car. He's like, dude, I got such and such money. I can afford that. He's like, dude, but you know, oh, wait a minute. You're going to have taxes. And you got attorneys and you got all this kind of stuff. You're not thinking about that. Man, I don't care about that. Send him the money. But they were actually trying to hold them because if they don't, they'll just spend and spend and spend. And this is where we got to get to the point where we invest in ourselves, in education, and learn about money. How does money work? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I put up here, I don't know if you've ever seen the cash flow quadrant. You know, Robert Kiyosaki? Yeah, well this is just tells you pretty much like what his dad was telling him. You know, hey son, you don't want to be an employee. You know what I'm saying? You don't work on a job because that's just over broke. You know, you'll be poor. And so what he was telling me is you don't want to be an entrepreneur either. Self-employed. You want to get into a business. And that's what we're talking about. Your own business within a business. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a difference. Self-employed is when it's just you.
Right.
But when it's a business, it's not just you. You know what I'm saying? You're leveraging yourself. You got other people, you know, helping you. And you're making money while you're asleep. Self-employed, you only make money when you're cutting hair or doing something like that, landscaping, selling cars. You're exactly right. You know what I'm saying? And so, but if you have a business, you own the car dealership. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mindset you want to have. And then once you get that mindset, now what you want to do with that money is invest it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're on a job, employee, and then you go to an entrepreneur, you're actually going from working a job to now you own a job. And you're going from 440 hours a week to 400.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But over here, you're working in your business. But we teach over here, you want to work on it.
Yeah.
How to market it, how to brand it, how to help your train the people that you have coming in as a business. You know, you want to have a business, and then you invest that money. You know, I think Jeff was talking about that a few minutes ago.
Right.
You know, how you invest money to make money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But another thing a lot of people don't really understand is they think, you know, I need money to make money. When you come see us, you don't. The money starts in your head, it doesn't start in your hand. You know what I'm saying? You come over here with what? Nothing, Jeff.
That's right.
And get the knowledge. And
Yep.
you use that knowledge and that education, and that will make you money.
Yep.
There are a lot of people that have $100,000. They're angel investors, venture capitalists, and what they're doing is, you ever seen Shark Tank? They got plenty of money. And what they're doing is they're looking for ideas to invest that money in. And that's the same thing we do, but we invest that money in something that makes money, and money in money. You know what I'm saying? And so over here is where you want to be on this side of the quadrant. You know, like I got down here, sense versus sense. Like I told a guy one day, I said, a lot of people, I said, all common sense ain't common. And the guy, he went home, we was at work, and he went home, and he was asleep. And he started laughing like he just laughed. And his wife was laying in bed with him. She, what are you laughing at? And he was asleep, just smiling. And she, what are you smiling at? And she woke him up. And then he told her, like Tim said something at work, and he was still thinking about it, sleep. I said, what did he say? He said, all common sense. It ain't common. But that's it. And we have to understand that it's nothing wrong with that because we really weren't taught. We weren't taught about money in school. You know what I'm saying? We were taught, you know, math and this and science. But what you got to do is, what you got to understand is, you don't want to actually be over here because an entrepreneur is just a technician. You want to think about a business. Because there are a lot of people that think that because they're cutting hair or have landscaping, they're actually not an entrepreneur, but they're not. They're what's called a technician. You know, I'm not going to get too deep into that. But over here, what we're talking about is having multiple streams of income. And when you have multiple streams of income, you're working less. And then you're leveraging yourself and where you're teaching other people to have multiple people and multiple streams coming in. Because what we have is, you know, several different products.
That's
It's
right.
not just one. And what most people are, they go into a job and just depending on one check. Now what happens when that one check goes away? The
You
mo-
ain't got nothing.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they're terrified of. What they're thinking is security in that. Well, there's no security in that.
No.
It's none. But what
No
you,
job security.
no, it's none. It's none. But they think it's actually some in it. But there's no security in that. And so what we come over here to do is educate you on not just the money part of it is good, but also on you. You know, thank you for coming out. Yeah. So what we're doing tonight, so you're new, we want just let you know you can ask anytime. If you have a question, you can ask. You know what I'm saying? You know, you hear what Abby. So don't be afraid. You can kind of go over questions a little bit. You know, a lot of people don't know that the questions are the genesis of everything. You want to be successful, you gotta ask questions because this is about helping you. This is not about me up here. You know what I'm saying? So I can talk for 5 hours and you sit there and may not get nothing out of it. You see what I'm saying? Like I was explaining to her, you go to the doctor and you sit there and you say, hey, what's wrong with you? You just look at him. You can't, you gotta, you know, we can do all the vital checking, but what are you actually having problems with? You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we want to help you with. You know, anything like what I do basically is I help people go from I don't know nothing to now I know a whole lot to get to where I'm trying to go. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much from A to Z, I'm not in a box. You know what I'm saying? My background is sales. And I tell, you know, everybody, everything is selling. You know, as you see up here, change this back to the screen I was talking about honesty. But this is a book I wrote. It's called How to Sell Yourself and Become Rich. And that's one of the genesis of the things that I talk about is you need to really sell yourself on you for whatever goals and dreams that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we wish positive and think negative. You know what I'm saying? So what we gotta do is we gotta figure out, okay, what do I really want? And I'll show you that you can actually have that. Because there are a lot of people that go to the mall and you know what they do? They say, I want a jacket, I want some shoes, I want some boots. And they look at the price. Because I remember I was in Atlanta one time. Looked at this jacket, it was $800. I was like, ain't no way. And had the money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. You gotta get away from this thinking of, I can't afford it. Once you change that thinking to, I can, what happens is your brain and your mind will actually work out how you can. You know, a lot of people don't know how deep that is. It took me years and years of research to actually figure it out. That's all you have to do. I tell people this also, you always at the right place, at the right time, for the right reason. There's nothing as such as happenstance. But what happens is, a lot of people, they're there, but because they don't know how to recognize opportunity, they go back and retreat and go back into that same, where they're comfortable at. That, you know what I'm saying, you gotta get out of that. You gotta get to the point where you're comfortable being uncomfortable. I had to get there. Because let me tell you something, in high school, doing book reports, I was just like that. I was quiet as could be. In my family, I was the quietest one. We used to go to my aunt's house, all the kids, I was just like that. I'm talking about for years. And then guess what? I became a car salesman. Now guess what? I got to talk. I begged the guys. I was washing cars. Did that for 3 months. Begged them to let me sell cars. I was just tired of being in the heat. And then guess what? When I became a salesperson, I was like, customer would walk up. I would do like this. Waiting for somebody else to go out there. I was outside by myself. They said, hey, how you doing? I was scared to speak. It was crazy. But they say, be careful what you ask for. And I thought I could do it when I was washing cars. But when they threw me in it, I was like,
Stage fright.
okay. The reason was I didn't know. I didn't have the self-esteem, the self-confidence. I didn't have any knowledge of how. They didn't give me really any real training. Yes, Adam.
So how did you build self-confidence in yourself?
That's what I want to talk about. That's an excellent question, What I had to do was actually push through this fear. I had to. I'm going to actually fast forward a lot. I found out years later, everybody you know that's famous is scared. But what they have is, it's called apprehension. They're apprehensive. And they'll tell you, you go to YouTube and pull up anybody. Steve Harvey, Oprah, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, in the beginning, they're afraid. Like, let's say Kevin Hart or whatever, they got to go on stage and do something. When they're backstage, everybody. But when they get out there, it's like the fear just goes away. So what happens is with them, it's easier for them to push through the fear because they've done it and done it and done it. And that's what they have to keep telling themselves. Dude, you've been here before. You've done 1,000 shows, just Oprah, everybody. But it's that unknown. When you go on that stage, Beyonce, Kevin Hart, they don't know what's going to happen. I don't rehearsed, but I don't know what's going to happen. And that's the fear part. And so what we have to do is, it's something called repetition is the mother of success. And so what you have to do is, you have to actually face the fear. Whatever it is. Face the fear, and the fear will disappear. And I love one of Oprah's best quotes, and I said it last night, is, one of her favorite quotes is, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. But see, most motivational speakers, they'll say that, but they don't actually tell you the steps on how to get through that. You see what I'm saying? And so what I had to do was, I wanted to ask a bunch of questions. Like when I first got into car sales, I annoyed everybody. Because I would walk to them, man, how do I be successful? How do I make a lot of money? And they're looking at me like, dude, give me a chance to ask them one of the questions. And then, I was everything. I would walk up to somebody else, man, I'm scared. Walk up to a customer, how do I get past that? I don't know what to do. My hands get tense. I start to, and they just like, look, like, calm down, man. Take a breather. And what I had to do was figure out, after years and years and years, the answer really lied within. You know, I was asking them, it was okay to get their information, their advice, their suggestions, but the real answer really lied within. And it took me years to figure this out. I'm talking about after I was selling a lot of cars, I was, hey, how you doing? I was all like that. I still didn't know. And what that's called is I was an unconscious competent. I wasn't really aware of how I did that. And there are a lot of people like that. They're successful, but they can't tell you how to do it. They can tell you how they did it, but like the question you're asking is, a lot of people can't tell you how.
Right.
How do I push through that fear? You push through the fear. And see, a lot of us, we think that success is calculus, algebra, geometry, trigonometry. It's basic. Adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying. But what a lot of people will do is they will make it complicated. They'll make it complicated more than what it is. And then they're thinking, man, I can't do that. That's super complicated. When it's not. And the only way I figured it out was, I was around managers. And I got so good at selling, managers would ask me, Tim, what do you think we need to do in this situation? I would be like, we need to change seats. Because I'm coming to you as a manager to say, hey, this customer has this situation, she's trading the cars, she's got this much money, her credit is this or whatever, and you're asking me. But I had got to the point I had got so good that they knew. But what happened was I told myself, if I spend an hour with this customer, a manager's not gonna come in 5 minutes and know what to do. I spent enough time with them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you're married to a guy, and then this other guy comes up. The guy you was married to can tell him everything. Hey, she likes this singer, take her to this concert, buy her this color dress. He can tell everything. And you'll be wondering like, why this guy bought me? How you know I like that color? How you know I like these shoes? But that's what happened with me. And so with you, what I did was I studied me. When I studied me, I studied you. Because I studied how my mind works, how my brain works. I studied body language. I studied how to be intuitive. I studied all of these things. Like we have higher mental faculties. I studied all of these things. But I did that because I'm passionate about helping people. You know what I'm saying? So like with the fear you have, it doesn't exist. And that's what I have to do, but it takes over and over. You hear this and then somebody actually showing you. Because a lot of people don't know it takes 21 days to make or break a habit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And once you keep doing it and over and over and over and over, you gotta realize I did this for 20 years. So my fear is like through the roof. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do stuff now that people look at me like, how in the world do you do that? I mean, I'll go someplace and just do something and say something to somebody. I'll give you an example. I was at the dentist one day, and they give you a list of, you gotta fill out that little form. And the lady was asking questions, and I was answering them all crazy. She asked me a question, they had a question like, are you pregnant? I was like, almost. And every question they had, I was answering something, it was ludicrous. And then the lady, I gave her the clipboard back. I was like, I went back and sat down. Before I could sit down, I heard her scream. She was like laughing. Every question she was like, this guy ain't crazy. And the other lady looked at her like, what's wrong with you? She's like, read this, what he put down here. And then she said, will you please fill this out the right way? But I do stuff like that. But for me, I had got to a point where I am high on life. I love life. You know what I'm saying? I went from a point to really being really quiet to every customer I hit, I just make them laugh. I mean, everything I say. And I've had guys, because when I'm at work, I'm really introverted. So when I'm at work, I'm just like this. When I get a customer, I light up. Just like Superman coming at the telephone. And I've had friends when I'm sitting there with a customer, and the whole time she's laughing. And I had guys walk by there like, just pacing. Because they try to, what is he saying? Because I'm quiet with other customers. And my grandmother told one of her friends this, because I used to go to my grandmother's house, and she got a friend there. They just sitting there talking, and the whole time I'm like this. And then my grandmother's friend like, he sell cars? She said, yeah, but he's so quiet. My grandma said, baby, they paid him to talk. And that's just how I am. You know, I'm quiet. It's like what I do now. It's like I got relatives like, you motivational, you speak what? Because they know me from growing up, playing kickball and stuff, and I was just, just like I was mute. I would just, but what I realized was I'm very, very observant. And I didn't know that as a child. Nobody told me, my grandmother didn't really tell me, you quiet, but I didn't know that. And then when I got into sales, what I did was, I didn't talk a lot, and so what I did was I listened. And I would just look at the person. And you know what? They started telling me how to sell them. And so what I started doing, I just started asking questions. And so what happened was I developed this in Atlanta, and I put it into a system where I would meet like a doctor. It would be either a brain surgeon or heart surgeon. And I would just ask them everything under the sun about brain. How do you know what part to cut? How do you do this? How do you do that? I would meet an attorney, and I would talk to him. I would ask him a bunch of law questions. I would meet a CPA, and just a stock investor. Everybody I met, I would just ask them questions. I wouldn't even think about the car. I would bring them off, and we'd sit down, and I would just talk and question. And what I realized was, when I met a doctor, and I asked him all these questions, when I met another doctor, guess what happened? I looked smart to him, because I learned all this information. When I met another attorney, I would ask him these intelligent questions because another attorney answered them. And I just kept doing that. And so when I kept meeting this attorney, I would ask him all these questions that these other two told me. I meet these doctors, I meet a person in real estate. I had a real estate person before. I sold them. I would just sit there, I would always ask them questions. They would be in surgery. I would go back to the surgery department and sit with them and just ask them question after question after question. And so what I'm trying to